What's up everybody, Alex here with a cup of coffee video. And this is a cup of coffee from my good friend Don from Don's Field of Dreams Cards. Don is asking us to share some cards that hold some sentimental value for us. And it was pretty easy for me to pick out what I wanted to share and talk about. Pretty much everybody knows that I built the 1953 Bowman Color set. My channel has evolved a lot since then. Somehow I'm doing a lot of live streams lately, and maybe that's how newer channels know me. But I'm a vintage collector, and I built this set over several years and documented the whole process here on YouTube, and you can go back and see all of that on my channel. I built it as a graded set, but one of the things that I never really talked a ton about was exactly where the idea to build this set came from. Some of it came from being inspired from YouTubers and watching videos and looking up cards and learning about the history of cards. But there's a more direct connection. Back when I was a teenager, probably 13, 14, 15 years old, my life started to take a turn away from baseball. There were several things that were kind of happening at the same time that all kind of coalesced in that reaction. The first probably was that I started to play baseball less and less. I was hitting that ceiling that you hit when you're talented, but you got to start really putting in the work. And I wasn't putting in the work and didn't really have anybody that was kind of pushing me in that direction. So the whole idea that I was going to play baseball started to fade, as it does for all of us when we kind of reach that time in our lives. Also, the Phillies had this heartbreaking loss in the World Series that I'm not going to talk about. And then the strike happened, and all these sorts of things just kind of came around. I was getting older, I was becoming a teenager, and baseball was just sort of taking a back seat. I wasn't collecting baseball cards, that's for sure. And right around that time, one day my dad went to a flea market on his own, and when he came home, he handed me this stack of raw vintage baseball cards. And it was totally random. He just sort of said, "Here, I thought you might appreciate these," and handed them to me. And I definitely thought they were interesting and kind of cool, but it was kind of a random thing, especially because at that time I was really not interested in baseball anymore. And so I kind of looked them over and didn't really think twice about it. I remember thinking as I looked at them that I had no idea what they were. I could tell they were kind of 50s, maybe 60s, but I really didn't know. I didn't really know anything about Topps or Bowman or any of that. And I certainly didn't know exactly when they were made or anything about them. I also distinctly remember looking at the 53 Bowman color cards and thinking that they were really strange. I was like, where's the name of the player? Where's the position that they play? Where's the name of the team or the logo? None of that was there. They seemed really strange, really odd, and almost like they weren't baseball cards somehow. And they just went into a drawer, and I forgot about them for a long time. To this day, I'm not really sure exactly why my dad decided to get those cards and hand them to me. I have to guess he just thought they were cool. Maybe they reminded him of his childhood. My dad was not a baseball fan growing up. He did tell me that when he was growing up, he would listen to games on the radio. He lived in Texas well before there was any baseball there, but they had minor league teams, so he grew up listening to the Beaumont Exporters on the radio, and he had fond memories of that, but wasn't a big sports fan, wasn't a big baseball fan until I started playing. And then we all kind of got into the Phillies as a family. But maybe when he handed me those cards, it was like a little way of reminding me of the past, reminding me of the game and my childhood, and just the fact that there was something cool about that time period. Didn't know at the time that many years later I would end up building the 53 set and just going off on this journey in the hobby and starting a YouTube channel and all the stuff that's going on in my life now. Whenever I look at the set that I built, I definitely think of my dad, and I definitely think of that time as a teenager when baseball was the last thing on my mind. And it's just this reminder that sometimes you don't realize the little acts and gestures that you might do for somebody else can have a huge impact on them, maybe in the moment or maybe later on down the road. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks so much, Don, and thanks everybody for checking this out. Take care, and I'll talk to y'all soon.